There is a saying that on the streets of Accra, if you don't have capital, trust is your capital. So I'm not going to be that type of businessman who will say we started with one city. Yes, you do. As a businessman, one thing I've come to understand is you owe. Now we have 3 branches. So in a good day, like let's say the festive season, like Christmas, like this, if you are serious and consistent with what you do, you can make as much as 100,000 Ghana cedis. You can do that in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Sometimes you don't have to listen to people, and you don't have to believe that it is white collar job that exists for everybody. We are all different.
Welcome to today's episode of My Business Story, where real entrepreneurs share the raw, unfiltered journey behind their brands. We explore the moment that shaped their hustle, the challenges they've overcome, and the lessons they are still learning. Whether you are building your own business or just love a good story, you are in the right place. Let's get into it.
My name is Noble Boche Kweku. I happen to be the corporate relations manager for QuestFind stores. We are into procurement of IT gadgets like laptops, computers, high-end, gaming, graphic design, laptops. We are into desktops as well. We are into TVs. And as you can see, we have, because of trust issues, people tend to, believe in the products we offer. So they tend asking for things we were not even having. So we need to resort to stocking perfumes, as you can see, watches, and so on, based on the trust they've developed with the brand QuestFind stores. I think this takes me back to when I was in the university during my undergrad at Regent University, Science and Technology. Apparently, as a student, you want to survive on campus. So my boss, the CEO, happens to also not having the dream that QuestFind will be QuestFind today. He was just getting the phones from his senior brothers from US. When Christmas is coming, people are coming down, so they bring the gadgets. Then instead of using it, he tends to sell them himself. So as a young student on campus, wanting to do something for himself and at least not all the things you need to resort to your parents and then asking them for money for that. So I tend, because he has been a very good friend through my best friend, who happens to be the niece of my boss, I decided to pick the gadgets, the one he has. And way back then, I think if I'm not kidding, we are in 2025. So that should take us about 11 years back. Yes. And that was when China flooded the market with fake gadgets and so on. So people are being careful what they want to buy. And so they buy based on who they know. And so I was very careful because I didn't want to have problems with people I was selling products to. So I have to resort to the person I equally know. That was when I met my boss. My best friend, Nunana, introduced me to his uncle, who happens to be my boss. And then I started picking the items one by one, accessories on campus, and all that. So I think the story of inspiration actually hit me, all thanks to this my lecturer, Mr. Zuma. So what happened is, knowing very well that this is what I was doing on campus, he engaged me and was like, so he bought a laptop from me. Then he later bought for the junior sister, bought for the junior brother. Then all of a sudden, he was supposed to take us on a course, e-commerce. So after he encouraged me that I could do this, I don't need to go out there looking for work after school and all that. So I quite remember by then the dad was on a project in Liberia, and so they needed laptops. And so that was where the whole motivation came from. I think they ordered about 15 laptops as a student, and you are doing such a supply by then. What would have been the motivation behind anything else you expect? So I jumped into it. After doing that, people keep calling. I was a student. Then eventually, after graduation, we all know in Ghana you need to do your national service. So I found myself at GRA head office. And as a student, one thing I didn't talk about is I love to sell. It's something I love to communicate. And so it's been something that happens to be my strength. And so I was just doing something that gives me some innate passion. If you ask any of my classmates or anybody that actually knows me, they know I'm the communication type. And so I diverted my communication into sales. So at GRA, what I found myself doing was I ended up selling to commissioners, custom officers. And so every day my boss will have to come to GRA, bring me phones, laptops, because those are requests from customers. So I ended up being a plucker. And thanks to my head of department, risk management, Mr. Ini, he called me one day, because as I then, I think I developed a very good relationship with him. I could just go during lunchtime, go and have communication. We'll chat about politics. He would advise me and hold on. And so I think it got to a time he even gave me his wardrobe or cubicle or cupboard. The key. He gave me a spare key because I was bringing in goods. You'll see sneakers, you'll see laptops, and I have to hide them there. So that when people call me, I don't have to leave work, go home, or go anywhere before doing the delivery. And so one day he actually called me. I was like, he wants to tell me something, but I shouldn't take it like he's driving me from office. But he has seen that I'm not the office type. I was like, so you could imagine what will come into my mind hearing that you are not the office type. Then what are you? And he told me that he realized I'll be a very good entrepreneur, because from what he has seen, it's beyond being in the office, because I always get distracted at the office. I'll even be at the office, you see other people from different departments coming to ask permission from my boss that so and so commissioner, so and so officer wants to see me. And when I go, the conversation is simple. Do you have this laptop? Do you have this mobile phone? If I want to swap, how much will you do for me? Those were the conversations. So I'm always distracted at the office. I'm always being invited. And so he told me that, and I was thinking, and he told me, look, I'm not saying that when you go out there, you are just going to make it. No. It means this is who you are, but then starting is always very difficult. And I believe that's what makes or prevents a lot of startups to fold. Because, starting business is something that, Charlie, if you are not careful, it can give you depression. It can give you serious issues. And so he told me that it will be very difficult. And so lo and behold, national service was over. And I think I was supposed to join customs. But then, during the process and all that, I realized, Charlie, the vibe wasn't there. And so the last call came from my senior brother, who was like, yo, you are supposed to go back to GRA. And I actually went. And then, when you are supposed to see those big men, let me just put it in quotes, you don't know when, and you are waiting, you don't know when they are calling you in. So even if you want to use the washroom, you are even scared because they can reach out for you anytime. So I had to sit there. I was hungry. I was like, this is just an iceberg. You are not even in it. But we all know the service personnel. They don't have social life just like we do. And I want to be out there every time talking to people about what I do and what I'm offering. And so, is this not going to be like a prison? Fortunately and unfortunately too, I didn't get to meet the commissioner. And so I had to go home and return the next day. When I got home, Then I called my brother. I was like, hello, I don't think I can do this. So Junior, being my boss, is also opening a shop. So I want to go and then help out. And I believe that's what will make me, busy. So at the end of the day, he didn't agree with me. So we need to exchange words. After hanging up, the next thing I saw was my mom calling me. It means definitely he has communicated back to, that thing where you are supposed to work and they call it white collar job, but you want to do something else. And so the whole family sees you as a different thing, a different kind of creature. Then, after talking with my mom, she was equally also not okay, because you know how it is, that you have a degree and going to sell phone. It doesn't sound well. So at the end of the day, I personally equally called my boss, who happened to be Junior. And I was like, oh, Charlie, I don't want to do what the family is asking me to do, but I want to come. And he was like, oh, he'll get back to me. Then 3 days time, he called me and he was like, you know what? He didn't know he would even hear this from me, but he has always wanted me around, because I have this was his phrase, I have a special knack of selling. So I should come around. So we came. That was when, I think that was in 2019. That was when we opened the shop. So we're doing back on the street, taking gadgets from people's shops, selling to customers. As at then, we didn't have a shop. Then eventually the first shop, which was located at Spinfest near Palace Mall, was open 2019. The year I equally finished my national service. So I came in. When I came in, I think I was getting fed up with individual sales. I wanted something more. I was hungry. So we ended up registering documents, PPA and all that, so that we will have valid documents that will give us the opportunity to go into supply. And from there, I've never turned back.
Ghana is home to over 2 million small and medium enterprises, the heartbeat of our economy. But only a few ever break through beyond their neighborhoods, beyond their streets, beyond their cities. That's why my business story exists, to give these everyday businesses the voice, visibility, and platform they need to succeed. If you believe in supporting local dreams and growing African businesses, then please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let's tell their stories together.
After establishing the Jawolu branch in 2022, I decided to continue education by doing my master's. And in the selection of the course, I didn't want to go and learn and come back to make it like a waste. I wanted to add what I'm learning to what I'm doing. So I decided to enroll into a 2-year master's program at GIMPA in MIS, Management Information Systems, to help me. And there, I learned a lot. I connected with professors, doctors, good lecturers. For example, Dr. Asini, Dr. Budu. So they encouraged me. They even gave me opportunities. They gave me referrals and so on. Last year, I graduated, God willing. And then, through the referrals, we are now focusing on supply, procurement deals and so on to organizations and all that. So you have the likes of FIDO, we supply FIDO, we supply Regional Health Directorate, Cape Coast. We are registered under Ministry of Health. We due to what the knowledge I've acquired, it has impacted and shaped what we are doing. And so we now know where to direct products and God doing so well. Now our accessories, clothing and accessories brand is expanding. So we are even deciding to even convert the Spintex branch into the clothing line, which will be coming out soon. And the name is City Boy. So watch out for City Boy. Yeah. So you'll see the perfumes, designer. We have very quality designer dresses and then sneakers and accessories. And so right after that, you realize that business hasn't been the same. The orientation as to other people doing the same thing we are doing is different because of the knowledge that we got from school. All right, so if you ask me if I've regretted not going for customs, I would say no, I have not. Because right after 1 year in this business, I got married. If you are not doing well, I don't think you can get married. Because getting married is a whole decision on its own, because it comes with responsibilities. Not just responsibilities, financial responsibilities. And so if you are not stable financially, you can't do that. So I've not regretted. I have not regretted. I've always said that if I were to be in customs, I wouldn't have been who I am now. Maybe it would have taken a lot from the man noble. All right. So I'm happy. I'm happy. I've never regretted, and I'm not going to regret, not today, not tomorrow. Because when I wake up, how to grow the business, how to expand, is what I think of. And I think of nothing else. Yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to be that type of businessman who will say we started with 1 cedi. Yes, no. No, I think, as a businessman, one thing I've come to understand is you owe. And so we leverage on that bakbakba in the the local dialect. That's how we call it, bakbakba. So I wouldn't be able to pinpoint that we started with this, because it was an all-angle kind of business. You sell this, you enroll, you roll out the profit, add it today, tomorrow, and that is what has brought us far. Now we have 3 branches. There is another branch aside the Jawulu branch and the Spintex branch. There is another branch at Okunglo. And so you see, so the focus has been entirely business, nothing more. Even at a point, it affected our social life, that we don't go for events. And if you are seeing us at events, they are strategic events where we want to see and meet people that are willing to pay for the products and the services you are rendering. Right, so one basic challenge, major challenge, is the market is getting saturated. With the introduction of TikTok, information is everywhere. And so there are new suppliers are meeting consumers directly now. So they are breaching that gap. And it makes it difficult for shop owners, because you could have somebody you buy from all the time, but you may just want to take a stroll on TikTok, and you may end up having access to a direct supplier, and that cuts your profit margin and reduces the customers as well. And another challenge is the cyber fraud. There are sometimes that people call online because you are positioned on social media. They call for delivery, and they either put weapons or weapons on the delivery, snatch the products from them, and then drive away. Sometimes they may even allow you to enter buildings, and they may, because they know the building very well, they may use a different way out, while the delivery guy will be waiting to hear from them, and they may run away with the products. So those are some of the challenges. And another major one is finance. Sometimes when you stock the goods, it doesn't move immediately. And before you know, other suppliers are equally calling you for different products, and they are equally needed, because these are things consumers need. So at the end of the day, it's become very challenging to even get funds to stock goods at the right time. So in a good day, like let's say the festive season, like Christmas like this, if you are serious and consistent with what you do, you can make as much as 100,000 Ghana cedis. Not in a month. You can do that in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And you see, one of the advantages of what we do is we are well informed. All right, we employ the digital tools that helps us in analyzing what we do. What are the trends? What do customers want? What do they need? And so we move according to businesses' demand. what they need. And so you basically see that we move with current trends. And so by the time, let's say, Apple have just released their M5 chip MacBooks, but we have it in stock. This is one that is already ready for delivery. It was just launched in October, but we have it. And so you understand the dynamics of the business when you are well informed in real time. And so that makes, and when you understand your consumers, their behavior, their buying behavior, you know that most Ghanaians prefer things that are trendy, things that are current. In a good month, if all things being equal, in a good month, you can make between the ranges of 50 to 100,000 in a good month, like festive season. And so all you have to do is to get data which will give you the real time information about what people need. And when you stock them, as such, it needs capital as well, because you have to stock and get ready for the consumers to come and buy. If they are not in stock, how do you satisfy their needs or their demands? So you need very huge capital to operate or run the business. And sometimes you may end up calculating wrongly. You may take in some stocks that may not sell. Sometimes we have gadgets that stay for a year, and the quantity will still be like that. You only see few being sold. Yes, because sometimes government policies like exchange rate and all that affects us as well. You may stock some goods that may, during the stock taking or the inventory, you may stock somewhere at a high exchange rate. Then, after stocking, policies may again influence the exchange rate to decrease. And when they decrease, who loses? It's the business. And so that's why my advice is to all the startup or the young entrepreneurs that are out there, that Charlie, don't think about profit all the time. Sometimes that kills the business, because most people see businesses like they are doing well, so they also set up, and within 1, 2, 3, 1 years, they expect to be at the peak of the businesses they've benchmarked, and that can be very, 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 very irritating. Yeah, so it's very, very important that they take into consideration that business is, from the beginning, isn't about profit, but it's about consistency and perseverance. You need to persevere in whatever you do, and you need to show up every day. Every blessed day, you need to show up. And I think with that, you may reap the results or the fruit someday. All right, so I would say we've employed about 12 people that works in various departments, from inventory down to sales, and yeah. So one of our proudest moments is when we won the tender, the bid to supply at Institute of Democratic Governance for their election monitoring activities last year. If you are supposed to start this business again, what would I have done differently? I think I would have started early and confront that fear of that uncertainty of like whether it will happen, it will not happen, whether this is it or not. You should just go with your innate passion, because that, I believe, that is the drive behind the purpose for which you exist. Anything rather than that, trust me, you'll be delusional. You live in a world that is not real. Yeah. All right, the first thing I would advise people out there, or students, is The earlier they identify what they are good at, the better. And when they identify that, the most difficult thing that they will need to do is to confront their fears, the fear of uncertainty. They have to. And they have to stop listening to people. Listening to people sometimes is just like, because they cannot take the decision you are taking, it is like a war between their ego and their conscience. And so sometimes you don't have to listen to people, and you don't have to believe that it is white-collar job that exists for everybody. We are all different. And the earlier you understand, the earlier the better. Because you might end up wasting about 50 years before you get to know. Don't let your story be like that of the CEO of KFC, who after retirement, before he got to know that this is what he was good at. Don't be. Either than that, you may end up wasting so many years before getting to know that, no, I've done a lot of mistakes. You might not be fortunate like the CEO of KFC. And so what you needed to do is find out what you are good at, confront your fears, and do not listen to people who are not taking the path you are taking. You only listen to people who have taken the path, who have passed through what you want to do. Those are the people you should be listening to, not people who have still not identified why they exist. There is a saying that on the streets of Accra, if you don't have capital, trust is your capital. And so you take people's goods and you need to make sure that you pay them on time. That is what is going to give them the encouragement to give you goods again. And so if you want to start this business, all you have to do is you need to know that it's not a 1 day, a 1 month, a 1 year business. You need to be consistent. You need to make sure that you have the right product. You are dealing with quality product. Because I don't think if we were to be selling inferior goods, I don't think we would have gotten to this far. I think we would have been in the news for selling fake goods and all that. But so anybody that wants to go into business should take into consideration quality and consistency, and make sure that you have the right products at the right time. All right, so to anyone who wants to locate us, they can locate us right adjacent Fiesta Royal Hotel, Jawulu. We are equally opposite the Obin Plaza, where CBG is located. We equally have shop at Okongulu, the bus stop, the traffic bus stop. Yes, and our Spintex branch is equally open. 020-527-9797 is the hotline. You can call me. Even at 1 a.m., I'll answer. My name is Noble Bochekweku, and this is my business story. Thank you.
Thanks for watching today's episode of My Business Story. If this inspired you, don't forget to like, comment, and share it with someone chasing their own dream. Subscribe for more real stories from entrepreneurs across Ghana and beyond, because every business has a story and yours could be next. See you in the next one.